In this video, I'll be turning 25 LEGO base plates into a massive LEGO zoo, full of tons of exhibits and over 100 unique animals. Let the challenge begin. I actually went to a real zoo to connect with the animals and get inspired to create my own LEGO zoo. We'll start by fencing in these 25 LEGO base plates so animals and guests can't escape. In the front, we'll tile off an area for the entrance and then place down the ticket stalls along with a couple arches. I'll add in the 2 minifigures inside to hand out tickets and then place a leafy roof on top. And of course, we need to make a sign to place above the entrance. Then we can complete the entry courtyard by adding in a couple benches, trash cans, and tiki torches. Guests can see the first animal at the zoo, and then buy tickets to get inside. Behind the entrance, I want to make a big mural of a lion for guests to be greeted by, which actually looks really cool. We'll also add a statue of the founder of the zoo, Bob, which is supposed to look like this. And after adding in some flowers and lampposts, we can start working on the first exhibit for gray wolves. Gray wolves are native to North America, Europe, and Asia, and are the cousins of our best friends. We can start by building an outline with bricks and then place down glass walls to enclose it. After laying down some grass and dirt, we can add in some water. Then I built this large wolf head with a cave in the back for the wolves to make their home in. And thanks to everyone who submitted animal suggestions for my zoo. Now we can release the 2 gray wolves into the exhibit. For the main attraction to this exhibit, I designed a crane which will allow park guests to actually pick up an entire deer and drop them inside for the wolves to enjoy a tasty snack. And with that, our first enclosure is complete. The next exhibit will be for smaller woodland creatures like the capybara, hare, raccoon, and hedgehog. I built a small grassy dugout for the hare to hide away in, and then filled in the rest of the area with grass and dirt. I also added in water and placed down a couple different types of plants. The raccoon and capybara can relax by the water, just like they enjoy doing out in the wild. I built this loop for the hedgehog for obvious reasons. With the first 2 exhibits complete, we still have over 100 animals left to build exhibits for. And next up in the middle, let's build one of my favorite parts of the zoo, the reptile house, which contains different species of snakes, lizards, frogs, spiders, and more. We'll grab a bunch of tan bricks and make a large outline for the building and tile off the floor inside. There are quite a few animals to make enclosures for, so I sectioned them off into 7 different areas. Starting with the biggest one, I'll build up a back wall full of rocks and vines. Then I added in a bunch of different plants and filled in the middle with blue studs for water. Now we can place in the different types of chameleons and frogs. The final result looks pretty accurate to what I saw at the zoo. We'll finish building the other 6 enclosures, which house a cobra, 2 scorpions in a desert climate, a boa constrictor, a black widow, a couple species of tarantulas native to California, and 2 water snakes found in North America. And make sure to subscribe and like the video, or you might end up swimming with the snakes. After adding in the glass walls, it really does look like the real thing. All that's left is to add a roof and place this giant snake on top to signify what's inside the double doors. With the middle of the zoo filled out, it's time to turn our attention to the back corner. I want to build a large savanna area for all the animals native to Africa. The zoo I visited had a huge open savanna for all the different animals like elephants, rhinos, ostriches, giraffes, and lions to roam around together. And I bought all of them plus more, which definitely wasn't cheap. We're going to need a bunch of tan plates to build a large space for all the different species. I'll use these hose pieces to create a secure barrier for the herd animals, and then I'll enclose a smaller section with glass for the lions, and place a large wall between the 2. With the 2 areas separated, I can get to work building a large watering hole for the herd animals. Watering holes are commonly found in the African savanna, and it's where groups of different species gather to drink water. Now we can fill in the hole with water and add some foliage around the edge. I'll also add in some dry brush throughout the exhibit. Then I built a large acacia tree, which is native to the savanna. Large predators typically use them to rest in the branches. With the area filled out, we can place down the animals, like a male and female elephant with their 2 calves. I made a couple mud puddles for the babies because the calves at the zoo were having an intense wrestling match in the mud. I'll add 2 giraffes, a zebra, and a couple ostriches. And for some reason, Bob thought it was a good idea to add leopards into the exhibit, and also for some reason, crocodiles. I also want to build a platform for guests to be able to feed lettuce to the giraffes. I was able to feed them at the zoo, which was a fun and up-close experience. With that large area complete, I'll move on to building a home for the lion family. And of course, I need to build the iconic pride rock for the lion to stand on, since he is the king of the jungle. I built a small watering hole, placed down a few dry shrubs, and made a smaller acacia tree for the mother lion to lay down under with her 2 cubs, which I was also lucky enough to see at the zoo. Before the African exhibit is complete, I need to add a rhino. This is the closest thing LEGO has made to a rhino and actually comes from a Super Mario set. And now the savanna is complete, and it turned out looking really cool. I'm gonna make a space for a petting zoo. I made a farm-style fence to enclose the area. I'll add in the different types of farm animals like a cow, sheep, pig, calf, bunny, lamb, and most importantly, goats. Because this viewer really wanted to see goats. So, goat in the logs, chunky unicorn goat, more goats, broken goat, goats, goat. We also can't forget to add another pig, but for Minecraft. I filled up the enclosure with a chicken hut, a large tree, a couple of logs for the goats to parkour off of, and a water trough. With the final addition of a camel, the petting zoo is open for guests. The next area to build is for aquatic mammals and ocean creatures. I'll start with building an area for a touch pool, which is one of the few places in a zoo where you can directly interact with the animals. This pool will contain a couple sea turtles, stingrays, an octopus, and also a tiger shark put in by Bob. What could go wrong? We'll fill in the touch pool with blue studs, and now it's complete. Let's move on to the polar bears, which are native to the Arctic Circle. I built an ice wall surrounding the enclosure, and I'll fill it in with water and some ice formations. Now the mother and baby polar bear have a home to hunt fish in, which we'll close in with the glass wall. Right next to the polar bear enclosure, we'll make one for the penguins, which are found in the southern half of the globe, and seals, which are found worldwide. I built up an ice float, rock structure, and even a slide for the penguins. I'll also place down the 2 seal pups, their mother, and a seagull in the corner. Now both of the enclosures are complete, and they look pretty similar to their actual native environments. Let's move on to the second largest area in the zoo, the aquarium. I'll use all of these blue tinted glass pieces with bricks at the base to create the walls of the tanks. I also left 2 open holes on either side to place a connecting tube for the animals to swim through. Let's add in tan plates at the bottom to replace the grass with sand. The next step requires an illegal building technique. I'll use these blue plates to create a coral reef with fish swimming around it. I'll place them in the back walls of the aquarium to give the illusion of being underwater, which surprisingly looks really good. I'll also add a few clams, crabs, and starfish on the aquarium floor, along with a few pieces of kelp. Now I can add an orca and a couple dolphins on one side, and then a great white shark, a hammerhead, and a saw shark on the other side. There's also a dolphin swimming through the tube. I built a few benches for guests to sit on to admire the beauty of these amazing Lego sea creatures. As part of this video, I've created a campaign to raise money for the nonprofit Rainforest Trust. They've been crucial in protecting endangered wildlife and native habitats around the world. I'll even be matching the first $500 raised in this video. In this big open section here, let's build the first enclosures for animals found in North and South America. I'll use these brown pieces to create an outline of the 3 enclosures, and then place the glass for the animals that are a bit more dangerous. I built a river that will run through all the enclosures, connecting them together by water. With the internal walls placed, we can start with the mountain lion. I'll add some grass to create some small hills and place down a tree that I built for the mountain lion to stalk its prey from. In the middle section, I'm going to make a meadow area for the smaller animals full of different shrubs, logs, and twigs. Now we can add in a couple beavers who are busy at work constructing a dam. I'll also release a couple river otters, which are even more adorable in person. And finally, we'll add in a skunk hiding in the bushes to complete the enclosure. In the final area, I'll start by building a cave for the brown bear to hide in. Let's place a dying tree with a beehive hanging down, which is a perfect place for the bears to scratch their backs. I'll place a couple small pine trees down and then one large one that I built. With the tree placed down, there's a perfect spot for a bald eagle to perch. There's even a baby black bear in the enclosure, which finishes it off very nicely. I'm very happy with how these 3 exhibits turned out. Right behind the reptile house, I want to make an aviary and butterfly house. For the butterfly house, I placed down a bunch of different flowers and released butterflies all throughout. There's a stone path for guests to walk through and observe the butterflies in their naturalistic habitat. In the aviary, I also added a bunch of different foliage for the birds to nest and rest in. I decided that the sloths and koala could go in here since they're both slow moving and enjoy the trees as well. There are quite a few different bird species mingling together. Let me know if you're able to find them all. In this last big open area, I want to add exhibits for animals native to Asia. I'll make 5 separate enclosures for the last of the animals. We'll use these red bricks for the outline of the exhibits, which is a fitting color for the area. I'll enclose them with glass and wire fencing. The first exhibit will be for gorillas, which are technically from Africa, but they sit right in the middle of the African and Asian exhibits. I built a tree and some different shrubs to replicate the dense forest floor where gorillas like to hang out. And we can't forget to add in a pull-up bar for the gorillas to get ripped on. One of the baby gorillas can go on the adult's back, and one up in the tree nesting. The next enclosure will be for pandas, which are native to China, which will obviously have a lot of bamboo in it. I made a platform for the pandas to hang out on, or just tumble and fall off. They really aren't known for their coordination. To finish it off, I added a red panda, which is also native to China. Interestingly, they're not closely related to the panda bear and are closer in relation to raccoons and skunks. In this empty area, we'll build a home for a few monkeys. I started by building a large climbing tree, a slightly smaller one, and a platform. Then I placed ropes going from tree to platform, and tree to the ground. Now we can set the monkeys free to play in their new enclosure. In the second to last habitat, I'm going to use all of these foliage pieces to make a really dense grassland area with a fallen tree and logs for a black panther to sneak around in. I'll add the baby panther on top of the tree stump with its mother nearby, crouching in the dense grass. You definitely wouldn't want to run into these 2 in the wild. For the final enclosure, we're going to make it the home of a tiger, which is the largest cat on Earth. I built a small rock formation in the back with a creek streaming down into a pool of water. I'll place down some bamboo shoots and other greenery to complete the exhibit. Now the tiger can wade around in the water or hide away in the dense jungle. With that enclosure complete, we can place in the walls separating the animals, and then add this cool net I designed to go over the top of the monkey enclosure. They're great escape artists, so we need something to keep them contained. Now, of course, the zoo wouldn't be complete without an area for guests to dine. And what better spot than right in front of the tiger enclosure? I'll place down 3 tables and stools, each right in front of a curved section of glass. Then I'll place down palm leaf umbrellas to provide shade for each table. I was heavily inspired by the outdoor eating area at the zoo, which looked out onto the African savanna. I built a counter with a variety of food options and a cash register. I placed down this custom living roof I made using a ton of vine pieces. Now the food court is complete and is the perfect spot to get an up-close view of the tiger while you enjoy your food. For the final open area, I want to add a gift shop for guests to get souvenirs to remember their time at the zoo. I designed the gift shop in the shape of a tiger head. Opening up the head reveals a counter inside and a small shelf full of stuffed animals, candy bars, and that crystal candy I always wanted as a kid. And most importantly, we have to add a bathroom for park guests. Inside is a small stall and sink. On top, I'll add a giant toilet to guide guests to the porcelain throne. All that's left is to fill the park with guests, zookeepers, and mascots. Now guests are enjoying the petting zoo, touching sea creatures, enjoying refreshments, and soaking in the beauty of nature. And with that, our Lego zoo is complete, full of over 100 animals. Every inch is jam-packed full of nature, and I'm really happy with how the entire thing turned out. And it wouldn't have been possible without the help of Max, Emily, and Carter. Comment below what your favorite exhibit in the zoo was. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome.